Greetings, Magic players. This is Steve from Untapped Games. We're going to open the Black Commander deck for Commander 2014, Sworn to Darkness. It features Ob-Nixilis, who has really only been mentioned by name. Well, that might no, that's not true. I think he's seen cards with him. I think he gets trapped in an artifact or something. So we'll see how that works. This is actually the commander deck I know least about going into it, so I'm wondering what the theme of it's going to be. So here is our oversized card. Nice packaging. Here's our deck. So we're going to start off, looks like, with an emblem that Ob-Nixilis creates. Alright, so Emblem Nixilis. Oh, I thought that was like his last name. So 1 and a black, sacrifice a creature. You gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. So now we have all our tokens. We got a horror, we got a zombie, a germ, a zombie, demon 1, a zombie, Demon 2, a zombie, more Demon 2s with zombies on the back, and a horror and a zombie. Here are our swamps. And here is our first card, Ob-Nixilis of the Black Oath. 3 and 2 black, Planeswalker, Nixilis. +2 ability, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain life equal to the life lost this way. -2 ability, put a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. You lose 2 life. So that's what all those demons are for. -8, put a emblem. You get an emblem with what we just said before. 1 black, sacrifice a creature. You gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. It can be your commander. So looks like I'm going to be making creatures and second creatures. Ghoulcaller Gissa. She is from Innistrad. 3 and 2 black, legendary creature, human wizard. Black and tap and sacrifice another creature. Put X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. Yep, it's going to be a sacrifice deck. Drana Calastria Bloodchief. 3 and 2 black for a vampire shaman. She's legendary, so either she or Gissa can be your commander if you so choose. Flying and X and 2 black. Target creature gets -0, -X until end of turn, and Drana Calastria Bloodchief gets +X/+0 until end of turn. She's 4/4. Skursdag High Priest. 1 and a black for a human cleric with Morbid. Tap and tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Put a 5/5 black demon creature token of flying onto the battlefield. Activate this ability only if a creature died this turn. And it's a 1/2 human cleric. And then Tuco Shade, 2 in black. Insect Shade for 1 black mana. It gets +1/+1 until end of turn. And it's a 2/1. Flesh Carver, 2 in a black. Human Wizard, 2/2. Intimidate. 1 in a black, sack another creature, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Flesh Carver. When Flesh Carver dies, put an XX black horror creature token onto the battlefield, where X is Flesh Carver's power. That's pretty cool. So we're gonna have ways to get big creatures into play, and then ways to use them via sacrifice. Cryptghast, 3 in a black for a spirit. That's 2/2. You can extort with it. So you may pay a white or a black. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain that much life. So it's from Ravnica Block, or Return to Ravnica Block. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add black to your mana pool, in addition to the mana the land produces. Disciple of Bolas, 3 in a black for a human wizard. When Disciple of Bolas enters the battlefield to sacrifice another creature, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is that creature's power, and it's 2/1. Abyssal Persecutor, 2 and 2 black for a flying trample 6/6 demon. You can't win the game, and your opponents can't lose the game. That's just it's very simple. You guys can't win, and I can't, or I can't win and you can't lose. So probably there's going to be a way to give this to somebody else. Liliana's Reaver, 2 and 2 black. For a 4/3 death touch, whenever Liliana's Reaver deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card and you put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tap. I actually just thought, so he's a big creature for a little bit of mana, so I'm going to use him and then sacrifice him. That's what Abyssal Persecutor is for. And Reaver is for churning out more zombies. Magus of the Coffers, 4 and a black. Human Wizard, 4/4, 2 and tap it. Add black to your mana pool for each swamp you control. Raving Dead, 4 and a black. 2/6 zombie with death touch. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose an opponent at random. Raving Dead attacks that player this combat if able. Whenever Raving Dead deals combat damage to a player, that player loses half of his or her life rounded down. Whoa. Blood Gift Demon, 3 and 2 black, flying 5/4 demon. At the beginning of your upkeep, target player draws a card and loses 1 life. Demon of Wailing Agonies, 3 and 2 black, for a 4/4 flying demon. And this is my lieutenant. As long as you control your commander, Demon of Wailing Agonies gets +2/+2 and has, whenever Demon of Wailing Agonies deals combat damage to a player, that player sacrifices a creature. Grave Titan, 4 and 2 black, giant, 6/6 death touch. Whenever Grave Titan enters the battlefield or attacks, put 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield. Pontiff of Blight, 4 and 2 black. Extort, 2/7. Other creatures you control have extort. Wow. Reaper of the Abyss, a Reaper from the Abyss, 3 and 3 black. For a 6/6 flying demon, at the beginning of each end step, if a creature died this turn, destroy target non-demon creature. Zathrid Demon, 3 and 3 black, for a 7/7 demon with flying and trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature other than Zathrid Demon, then each opponent loses life equal to the sacrificed creature's power. If you can't sacrifice a creature, tap Zathrid Demon and you lose 7 life. Butcher of Malakir, 5 and 2 black, for a vampire warrior with 5/4 with flying. Whenever it or another creature you control dies, each opponent sacrifices a creature. Overseer of the Damned, 5 and 2 black. Demon, 5/5 flying. When Overseer of the Damned enters the battlefield, you may destroy a target creature. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield tapped. Pestilence Demon, 5 and 3 black, for a 7/6 flying demon. For 1 black, Pestilence Demon deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. Bad Moon, 1 and a black. Black creatures get +1/+1. Spoils of Blood, 1 black. Put an XX black horror creature token onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. Which can be a lot, because you can sack a lot of stuff. Malicious Affliction, 2 black. Morbid, when you cast Malicious Affliction, if a creature died this turn, you may copy Malicious Affliction, and you may choose a new target for the copy. Destroy target non-black creature. Sudden Spoiling, 1 and 2 black. Split second. Until the end of turn, creatures target player controls lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 0/2. Wake the Dead, X, 2 black. Cast Wake the Dead only during combat on an opponent's turn. Return X target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. Sacrifice those creatures at the beginning of the next end step. Mutilate, 2 and 2 black. All creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn for each swamp you control. Infernal Offering, 4 and a black. Choose an opponent. You and that player each sacrifice a creature. Each player who sacrificed a creature this way draws 2 cards. Choose an opponent. Return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Then that player returns a creature card from his or her graveyard to the battlefield. Aether Snap, 3 and 2 black. Remove all counters from all permanents and exile all tokens. Promise of Power, 2 and 3 black. Choose one. You draw 5 cards and you lose 5 life. Put an XX black creature token or a black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield, where X is the number of cards in your hand as the token enters the battlefield. You can entwine for 4 to play both. Necromantic Selection, 4 and 3 black. Destroy all creatures, then return a creature card put into your to a graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. It's a black zombie in addition to its other colors and types. Exile Necromantic Selection. Black Sun Zenith, X and 2 black, put X -1/-1 counters on each creature. Shuffle Black Sun Zenith into its owner's library. Profane Command, X and 2 black, choose 2, target player loses X life. Return target creature card with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, and up to X creatures gain fear until end of turn. Well, that's a real workhorse card there. Dregs of Sorrow, X, 4 and a black. Destroy X target non-black creatures. Draw X cards. Jet Medallion, 2. Black creatures you control cost 1 less to cast. Lash Writhe, 4. Living Weapon, it comes into play with a 0/0 black germ token attached to it. Equip creature gets +1/+1 for each swamp you control, and you can equip it for 2 Phyrexian black mana. Phyrexian black mana can be played either with black or 2 life. Crypt of Agadeem. Crypt of Agadeem enters the battlefield tap for a black. 2 and tap, add black to your mana pool for each black creature card in your graveyard. 2 swamps. Arcane Lighthouse, tap for 1 and tap until end of turn. Creatures your components control lose hexproof and shroud and can't have hexproof or shroud. Barren Moor enters the battlefield tap for black, cycle for 1 black. Bojuka Bog enters the battlefield tapped. When Bojuka Bog enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard, tap for black. Everglades enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you return an untapped swamp you control to your hand, or to its owner's hand. Tap to add 1 and black to your mana pool. Ghost Quarter, tap for 1. Tap, sack it, destroy target land. Its controller can search for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, and shuffle. Murad Landscape enters the battlefield tapped. Tap for 1. 2, tap and sack it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards that share a land type. Put them onto the battlefield tapped and shuffle your library. Polluted Mire enters the battlefield tapped. Tap for black. Cycle for 2. Vampire Hexmage, 2 black. Vampire Shaman, first strike. It's 2/1. Sacrifice it. Remove all counters from target permanent. It's a great card. Evernight Shade, 3 and black. For a shade, 1/1. 1 black. Evernight Shade gets +1/+1 until end of turn, and it's undying. Nikertal, 2 and 2 black. First strike, 2/1. When Nikertal enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. That creature can't be regenerated. Shriekmaw, 4 and a black. Elemental, 3/2 with fear. When Shriekmaw enters the battlefield, destroy target non-artifact, non-black creature. Evoke for 1 and a black. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, 3 and 2 black. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses X life, where X is your devotion to black. You gain life equal to the life lost this way. And your devotion to black is how many mana symbols of black mana symbols you have in play. Morkret Banshee, 3 and 2 black. Morbid. When Morkret Banshee enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn, and it is a 4/4 spirit. Phyrexian Gargantua, 4 and 2 black. When it enters the battlefield, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, and it's a 4/4 horror. Tragic Slip, 1 black. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. That creature instead gets -13/-13 until end of turn if a creature died this turn. Tendrils of Corruption, 3 and a black. Tendrils of Corruption deals X damage to target creature, you gain X life, where X is the number of swamps you control. Annihilate, 3 and 2 black. Instant, destroy target non-black creature, it can't be regenerated, draw a card. Skeletal Scrying, X and a black. As an additional cost to cast it, exile X cards from your graveyard. You draw X cards and lose X life. Sign in Blood, 2 black. Target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. Read the Bones, 2 and a black. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards. You lose 2 life. Victimize, 2 and a black. Choose 2 target creature cards in your graveyard. Sacrifice a creature. If you do, return the chosen cards to the battlefield tapped. Siphon Mind, 3 and a black. Each other player discards a card. You draw a card for each card discarded this way. Dread Return, 2 and 2 black. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and it flashes back by sacrificing 3 creatures. Burnished Heart, 3 for a elk. That's 2/2. 3 mana, sack it. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle your library. Sol Ring, 1 mana, tap for 2. Charcoal Diamond, 2 mana, enters the battlefield tapped, tap for black. Mind Stone, 2 mana, tap for 1, 1, tap it, sack it, draw a card. Swiftfoot Boots, 2 mana, equipped creature has hexproof and haste, equipped for 1. Commander Sphere, tap, add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity, sack it, draw a card. It's casting cost 3. Unstable Obelisk, casting cost 3, tap for 1, 7 mana, tap it, sack it, destroy target permanent. Worn Power Stone, 3 mana, enters the battlefield tapped and tap for 2 mana. So that's this deck. Seems to be a lot about making big creatures, sacrificing them, and gaining some benefit, usually, destroying other creatures or gaining life, causing direct damage to your opponent. Looks like a pretty fun deck. I am going to move on to my next deck, so stay tuned for that one. Take care, guys.